hopefully you had a minute to try these the other day. So I'm just going to kind of go through what I would do when I'm looking at multiple numbers, not just two, right? So the first thing I might do is combine my decimals because they're the same, so I don't really have to do anything to them, right? I have 75 hundredths and I'm adding 45 hundredths to it. So if I simply line up my decimal points and my place values, 5 and 5 is 10, carry the 1, 7 plus that 1 is 8, plus 4 is 12. And then I would bring down my decimals, so I 1 and 2/10. And what is this as a decimal? Well, I know what 1 1/4 would be. 1 and 1/4 is 25 hundredths. So I have 1 and 25 hundredths plus 1 and 2/10. I can leave the 0 there if you'd like. Now, are my signs the same or different? Different. So I have to find the difference. So here is where I would probably be using my sheet, right? Because and if you need another piece of paper, definitely grab some. I have all this line paper back here too. I'll stick some more over there. But we're finding the difference. It's always big minus little. So which is bigger? 1 and 25 hundredths or 1 and 20 hundredths, we'll say. What's bigger, 20 or 25? 25. So we're going to write it as big minus little. So 5 minus nothing is 5. 2 minus 2 is 0. Bring down your decimal. 1 minus 1 is also 0. So now, is this my answer to 13? No, because my bigger number is actually negative. So your answer should also be negative. But that should be your answer now. Is that what you got? No. So figure out what you did. Hopefully you're showing some work, right? So you can go back and say, is that what I did? 14. Remember, we have to break it into parts. Now here, I notice 1/6 is going to be a repeating decimal. So I need to change my decimal to a fraction. So how would I write negative 25 hundredths as a fraction? 1/4. Negative 1/4. So this is negative 1/4 plus 3 and 1/6 plus 2 and 1/12. Well, do you want to add 2 and then add the next 2? No, you don't. All right. So what multiple do 4, 6, and 12 have in common? 12. Well, that makes it easy. So we are going to rewrite this like they are fractions out of 12. So instead of out of 4, we want it out of 12. So 4 times what is 12? What's 12 divided by 4? 3. So 4 times 3 is 12. So what do I do to the 1? Also multiply it by 3. What's 3 times 1? What's 3 times 1? 3. Does 3/12 equal 1/4? Absolutely. Now I have 3 and 1/6, but I need to write it out of 12. So what did I multiply the 6 by to turn it to 12? 2. If I multiplied it by 2, what do I have to multiply the top by? Also 2. What's 1 times 2? 2. Okay. Now, do I need to do anything? No, I just have 2 and 1/12. Is it safe to add and then subtract? Yeah, we can do it in any order, right? Because this is really a negative. So if we combine these two, what's 2/12 plus 1/12?
That.
What is 2/12 plus 1/12? This should be easy.
3/12.
3/12. And what is 3 plus 2? What's 5? And then I'm adding a negative 3/12. Now my signs are different. So I'm finding the difference. I'm taking big minus little. So I can rewrite it vertically if you'd like. 3/12 minus 3/12 is a big fat 0. I'm not going to put a 0 there because then it might look like 50, right? These are going away.
Okay.
They're additive inverse of each other, right? They're the opposite. So we just have a 5. That's it. 5. All that to find an answer of 5, right? For number 14. All right. Let's check back here. We did example 7, but it was quite some time ago. Right? So let's review it before we do this last problem. The lowest recorded elevation in the contiguous United States, that means the states that are kind of connected to each other. So that means it doesn't include what 2 states? Alaska and Hawaii. So even though Alaska is kind of connected to North America, it's not connected to the United States, right? Like way up on the top of Canada. And Hawaii is an island, yep. So 282 feet below sea level is in Death Valley. And because it's below sea level, we call it what? Negative 282. Suppose you began a hike in the parking area at 266 feet below sea level. The stopping points of the hike and the elevation traveled are shown in the table. So what they did was they were trying to find where they were. If they started here, they went down another 12 and a half, then they went up 26 and 6/10, then they went down another 3 and a half, and then they went up. This is where they ended up, is that 141 and 9/10 feet above sea level. So we're going to do something similar. We did our check already. Remember, we had to change some of our things. We were able to change these to decimals. Let's check out number 15 to see what we will have to do here, okay? My gosh, doctor's offices have been calling me like crazy today. Marley is making jewelry. Sorry, it's kind of fuzzy. For a class craft show. She began with 115 inches of wire, so that's her beginning point, and she's using this amount. Then her teacher gave her this, then she used that, and that. So everything she's given or what she's started with are going to be positive. Everything she uses is going to be negative, and we're adding them all up. So she has 115. She's taking away or adding a negative 25 and 75/100. Then her teacher is giving her 30 and 1/4. Then she used, so we're adding a negative 38 and a half. And then we're adding negative 60 and 2/10 to see how much she has left. So sorry, I didn't leave enough space. But you could rewrite these. Is it easier here for you to go to decimals, or is it easier to change them to fractions? Probably decimals. They're all terminating decimals, so we can do this. So if I'm rewriting 15, I might just start writing them vertically. Is that fair? So I'm gonna write 115. Wait, no, I'm not. I'm gonna put all my positives together. So I am gonna rewrite this real quick. 115 plus, in parentheses, a negative 25.75 plus 30 and 1/4 plus, in parentheses, negative 38 and 1/2 plus a negative 60 and 2/10 or 60.2. Okay, so now that I'm here, I'm going to start adding them up or subtracting them. So since these are all adding, we can do them in any order, right? And you could also use your calculator. But if I look at my positives, how would I write 30 and 1/4 as a decimal? It's one you should know. 30.25. Everything else is negative, right? We have to subtract everything else from this, but these two we're adding. So I'm bringing down my 2500ths, boys. 5 and 0 is 5. 1 and 3 is 4. 1 and nothing is 1. Now, from now on, I'm going to be subtracting. So I've included this one and I've included this one. And now I've got to keep subtracting all of these. Tanner, don't go insane. All right, so let's start with subtracting 25 and 7500ths. What's 5 minus 5? 0. Can I take 7 from 2? No, I have to borrow. The 5 becomes a 4. What's 12 minus 7? 5. 4 minus 5, can I do that? I cannot. I have to borrow from the 4. It becomes a 3. 14 minus 5 is 9. 3 minus 2 is 1, and 1 minus nothing is 1. All right, so I've included this one now. Now I have to subtract negative 38 and a half. How do I write that as a fraction? .5, good. So my decimal here is going to go away because 0.5 minus 0.5 is gone. What's 9 minus 8? 1. Can I take 3 from 1? No, so I'm taking 3 from 11. What's 11 minus 3? Ethan, do you need to move? 8. So now I have 81. Is it still bigger than 60 and 2/10? Yes, so big minus little is still this. I do need to bring out my decimal of 0. Can I take 2 from nothing? No, I have to borrow from the 1. It becomes 0. What's 10 minus 2? 8. So I have 8/10. 0 minus 0 is 0. 8 minus 6 is 2. And since we were always more positive, this is how much she has left. The other way that you could do this, boys, is you could go with your calculator. You know how to use your calculator? Can you see that better than this? No, this is probably better. All right. So I would put 115 in here. Plus, and then I can use my negative sign up here. Do you see that in parentheses? Plus negative 25.75 plus 30. And then I have to change that 1/4 in my head to 0.25. Plus, and then here's my negative sign again, 38.5 plus And here's my negative sign again, 60.2. And out comes our answer, okay? So yes, you can totally opt to use your calculator, fair? But should you also know how to do it by hand? Hopefully. It's good practice for sure. All right. This is asking you what the food supply is after day 4. Try number 16. This is a great check to be sure you know what to do. It looks like you could change these all to a decimal. Remember, we can always take the numerator divided by the denominator. So 1 divided by 16 is 0.0625. So negative 20.0625 is here. And then do 3 divided by 8. You can rewrite these. Negative 20.0625. 3/8, I would do 3 divided by 8. So this is negative 23.375. We have that one already, and you should know that one. So the change in amount of food for a male sea otter at the zookeeper starts here and tracks how much the otter eats and any food deliveries. What's the food supply? So you're really starting here. So this plus negative this, plus this, plus this, plus this, plus this, right? So you can definitely use your calculator, or you can line them up and do it like we did number 15. But you should be able to do 16. See how much is left. Lucas, get it together. I'm going to pause this while you figure out number 16 on 195. So 16, I would just use your calculator, right? You should have started with that 100.75, 175 hundredths, plus a negative. Remember to use this button up here for negative. Boys, did you get the answer to this? If not, you should be following along with me, putting this into your calculator. If you don't have a calculator on your desk right now, you need to go get one. They're over by the window. So plus a negative 20.0625. So to read that, I would say 625 tens, hundreds, thousands, 10 thousandths. So negative 20 and 625 10 thousandths. I would read that by. Ugh. Plus, we have a negative 23 and 375 thousandths, plus a negative 25 and 25 hundredths, plus 75 and, how did you change 3/4 to a decimal? What's 3 divided by 4? 75 hundredths, so 0.75. And out pops your answer. 107 and 8,125 10 thousandths. Okay. Questions so far? We're going to look at these apply problems, do the check, and then you're going to have 196 to do on your own. So these are very similar to what we just did. Changes in the cat's weight, starting at 17 and 25 hundredths pounds. What is the cat's weight after its last visit? So we're going month by month here. It's going down 0.5. It's going down 2 and 1/5. So should we change it to decimals or all the fractions? I would say decimals would be super easy. How would I write 1/5 as something out of 10? What times 5 is 10? 2. So 1 times 2 is 2. I'm writing -2 and 2/10. I can do that as a decimal too. And 2/10. Isn't the 2 in the tenths place? -3/10. We should be able to do 2. Isn't the 3 in the tenths place? And now everything is in its correct spot. So in our calculator, we would write 17 and 2500. So we might want to write these out, right? Real quick, what we're putting into our calculator so that you can repeat these with the check and with the apply problems. So 17 and 2500 plus -5/10 plus -2 and 2/10 plus -3/10 plus 3500. So this is what you're putting into your calculator. Let's see what comes out. So 17.25 plus a negative. Remember, I'm not using my subtraction sign. I'm using that negative sign. Plus a -0.5 plus a -2.2 plus a -0.3, 0.3 plus 0.35. 2,000,000. 14 and 6/10. So 14 and 6/10 is the weight on its last visit. So 14 and 6/10 pounds. It went down, 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 and then back up a little bit. Okay? So now that we've practiced several of these, you should be able to do this check. Do you want to practice one more together?
No.
All right, good. These you could also change into nice decimals. This is how much it covers. Then it's giving you its change. 472 and 7/10. How would I write this as something out of 10? This one we should know. This one's already a decimal. We'll do the same thing for this as we did for the first one to get it out of tenths and rewrite it as a decimal. So 4 times 2 is 8. So this would be plus 3 and 8/10 minus or plus a -1 and 5/10 plus a -7 and 9/10 plus 2 and what? How many tenths is that? 2 and how many tenths? 2 times 2 is 4. So 2 and 4/10. So put that into your calculator and out should pop your answer here. Check that. And then move on to page 196. After you check that.